Alright, so today we're going to do some work on my B16B head and get it ready to go. We're getting ready to build a LS vtec or B18 vtec, and this is from a B16. As you see, it's been neglected, it's freaking dirty, it's just been sitting in my storage for a long time. As you can see, the cardboard that there's like spider webs and stuff in it, so it's gonna have to go to the machine shop and get like resurfaced and new valve seats and new valve stems and just pretty much redone. But you know, other than it being dirty, I think it's pretty okay. Like all the bolts are already loose. It's like been taken apart, not by me. I might find that like something's missing. It looks like everything in the rocker assembly's in there. It's supposed to be in there. The cams don't look like they're corroded or anything like that. Doesn't look like there's any apparent damage. So I mean, I think it's still a good candidate. So gonna take it apart, get it all cleaned up. So all of these are all 12 millimeters, and they're already loose, so I don't have to bother with the sequence because everything's already loose. So let's see. All right, it's ready to come out. Everything looks okay so far. So that was the intake side. Now I'm going to take off the exhaust side. Then we'll pop these caps and see what we have. This cam looks a little corroded, so we'll see. That's ready to lift up. Alright. Nothing really surprising. Old oil. Like if you can smell the cylinder head, it'd be like, oh man, it's like a whiff of like old engine oil. Alright, let's take these off. These are 10 millimeter. Well, I'm pretty sure this head was used in a LS vtec conversion before I got it, because this here has already been tapped, and when I turn it over we'll take a look to see if the oil galley has been plugged like they do when it's a LS vtec conversion. Alright, so take these guys off. Try to keep everything in order. That goes with that, that goes with that, that goes with that. Where is my little mallet? There we go. There we go. Alright, don't go to town with it, just that one was loose. Let's give it some love tap so it'll loosen up. There's there. Alright, let's see. So that may have been an issue. There's this guy's in here, but there's no O-ring. I know there's supposed to be an O-ring in there, so probably get a kit with a new O-ring. So that's probably been an issue. Yeah, so these have the little arrow that points towards the cam side of the engine, and that's numbers 1, 2, 3. That goes in the middle. That one's labeled. Are the other ones labeled? Yep. Arrow and 2, so you can't mix them up. And obviously if you put it on the wrong way, it would be pointing the wrong way, the arrow. So that's how you know that it orients this way and not that way. So they are labeled, but you know, just keep them in order just in case, whatever. So let's look at these cams. So yeah, these have got a little bit of corrosion on them. They'll probably clean up. So as long as it's not like pitted or anything really massive, I think it'll be fine. I can probably clean these up with like some emery cloth or something. So yeah, I'm sure these will clean up, so I'll probably just use these and not worry about buying cams for it. I think this head sat like in a bin underwater for a little bit also, that's why there's corrosion and shit, because it was in a shed that leaked, and for like 5 or 6 years I just had parts in the shed that leaked, and like yeah, that's why this valve cover is all like corroded and stuff. Just, but you know, I feel like that's the worst of it. Alright, so we got my LMAs in there. Lost motion. Oh, that one's springy. That one's springy. That one's springy. That one's springy. Exhaust. Yep. Oh, I might be able to use these. They're not like stuck or anything. They're not like, they plunge and rebounce when I press on them. So yeah, those should work. Pretty cool. Okay, so far nothing major. So really dirty, but it's all gonna get cleaned up and reused. So it's all good. Let's take off the vtec solenoid like I said. This one I put on from my spare parts bin because it didn't have one on there, and I just threw it on here so that I'd know that I have one for it, and it was together with the head. I'm just gonna take this off so that this head can go to the machine shop. Alright. The screen looks pretty clean. We got a new gasket and screen, but it looks pretty clean. Oh, like I said, like the smell of just old oil is like crazy, but whatever. Oh, look at that. That is nasty. Alright, let's take this old ass gasket on. Yeah, there may be like some rat droppings on this thing. I don't know. Like, probably should be wearing gloves, but oh well. Let's see, I got a razor blade over here. Anyways, clean some of that off just real quick. Oh, look at that. Gasket sealer, that's not a good sign. Why would you use gasket sealer if you have a new gasket? I'd probably use the same old gasket and then use a little bit of gasket sealer so that the old gasket would seal properly. Just get a new gasket, it's not that expensive. But you know, budget stuff, I guess. Alright. The audio on this video might suck because I got the washer and dryer behind me going, and if it's too bad, then I would just like not do the audio and do like commentary instead. Let's shake all that trash off. Ooh yeah, some of that came off. Got a little brush here. Let's put this back on here. Flip it upside down. Let's see. Okay, so yep, it looks like they've gone and plugged that oil gal. Yep. So yeah, so between that and that, You can tell that this has been used for B20 vtec conversion or LS vtec conversion. Ooh, there's a gouge there. That's not good. How deep that is, I don't know. But hopefully this hasn't been machined past its limits. I think the indicators are these things here. Like if they're like beyond that. But I'm not sure. But I'm gonna take it to the machine shop and have like the men. Well, this actually doesn't look like it's been machined. So hopefully we can machine it enough to get that gouge out and not far enough to where it's past the service. And then we'll probably use a thicker head gasket to make up for whatever we machine on. Valves look okay. There's some carbon buildup. There's not a, don't see any like burnt valves, but there is a little bit of buildup. Alright, so yeah, we're just gonna keep going with this. Let's see, what else do we have to take off before we take it to the machine shop? I'm probably gonna take this guy off so that, let's see. I always want to do open palm. You'll bust your knuckles if you use a closed fist and then you like hit a stud or something. Alright, come on you. Alright, get those trusty hammer. Whoa! Some corrosion in that, okay. Put those back with the port. There's a bunch of corrosion on this, but it still looks, I mean, this is all just surface stuff. It's gonna all clean up. See, like all this white corrosion stuff, that's how aluminum corrodes. Got a D12. Like, I don't even know if the angle that I set my camera to is actually capturing what I think it's capturing. It's probably capturing like that wall over there, and this whole video is gonna be scrapped. So. Loose. Alright. Orientate this thing. So this worked with the tap from the hammer. Oh, it's got crush washers. Might have to get some new ones of those, okay? Get down there. Okay. Okay, so there's these pins. It's loose. Alright, that's the second one. Okay, now we should be able to now you can tap it in from this side. Start taking it out. Keep tapping it out like we've been doing. There we go. Starting to loosen up. Oh. Take this guy off. Alright, same procedure. Go. Cracked it open. Oh, cross washer came with it too. Get some new cross washers. Put it in. Give it some light taps. This is intake exhaust. I gotta get zip ties for these guys, or I can just put them into these.
Yeah, just put them in these. Keep them all together. Like this. Put them in here. These are done. Okay, get that in there. Close the pins. Okay, that's one there. And so on and so forth.
Alright, so they'll be in the same order. And then this one, then the next one, then the next one. They'll be in the same order as when they go in. Put some zip ties here at the ends so that they don't fall out. But for the most part, that'll hold them in place. Alright, so same thing here. Start here. Make sure you don't drop the pins. Slide them in. Slide them in. Okay. Alright. Gotta take the LMAs out and the valve springs and the valves out. So let's do that next. Alright, so we're gonna finish this off. So we got the LMAs to pull out, and these should just slide out or not.
Pull this out. Just put those in a bag. Don't go crazy with the pliers, just try not to get some wet. Alright. Put those around the rest of the stuff.
Okay, now all we have to do is remove the keepers so that the retainers can come out and the valve springs can come out, and then we'll pull out the valves. Let's grab a mallet here. Got the socket on an extension, and what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna go whack. Make sure that's in the center. Make sure you're not hitting the valve stem and you're hitting the retainer, because you want the valve stem to stay in place and the spring and retainer to squat down, and that's what's going to make the keepers bounce out of place. There we go. This time both of these came out at the same time. Got 1, 2. Pull out. Now the thing about this is, if you're not careful and you put, like, say like that over the valve stem, and you give it a good whack and you have it like on a hard surface, you could potentially bend your valve stem. That wouldn't be good. So just make sure you have it in the center where you're not gonna hit the valve stem. and you'll be all good if you're doing it this way. If you're using a valve spring compressor, then you know, good for you. Bag and tag everything. Now that the exhaust is all out, we can remove the exhaust valves. Alright. And got myself a little diagram here. Cam side, distributor, intake, exhaust. So we'll take them out and put them into this little cardboard. All you have to do is push on it, then it slides out like that. Oh, look at that, spider eggs. Yay. Never know what you're gonna find. Slide it in there, and that'll keep it nice and neat and in order for us for when we go back to assembling this thing. Alright, so again, push on it, slide it out. This just keeps everything nice and neat, because you know, who knows how long it's gonna take me to like take this head to the machine shop, and especially because it's not something that I need to get my car running. This is just like something that I'm doing just because I have the head and I want to build an engine. So like when I took this thing apart, it's been 5 years and it's been like all apart, but I still have everything bagged and tagged, like the main caps and the pistons and rods. I have everything labeled as to which cylinder they go into, and all the corresponding bolts and everything. So even though it's been like 5 years since I took that thing apart and had it machined, I'll still have everything in order and know where everything goes. Some things you just have to keep in order. Some things are labeled. Some things have labels on the castings, like when I showed you these have labels, so I don't really have to keep them in order because you just read the label, the marking on it. Some things don't, like these obviously wouldn't have a marking. I just want to keep them together just because why not put them back in the same place. If I do reuse these, I might not even reuse them, but it's good practice. Alright, now that the exhaust is done, I'm gonna do the intake. Oh, these have dual springs on the intake. Just turn this back around. And then we're going to do the same thing. Keep the rotation, cam side, distributor side, and we're going to push it through, pull it out. So this first one goes in the first one.
Second one goes in the second one. And so on and so forth. And last one. Alright, that's that. No!
and like the holes for these I just made using my screwdriver. Just poke them through because it's cardboard. So. Those like that, and that way everything's all nice and organized. Okay, yeah, that's it. Now it's good. I'll just pull out these valve stem seals out, and that'll be it. So I think I'll just let the machine shop do that when they do the valve stem guides, and they'll put on the new seals for me. So that's it. Alright. Next step, take it to the machine shop.